Usually on this channel, our adventures take us to places like this, and this, and this. Places beyond paved roads, places most people don't bother to explore. We do it because the rewards for this type of travel are many, and none are greater than the simple fact that the further into the backcountry we go, the better and more dramatic the views tend to get. Of course, there are always exceptions, and this place just might be the biggest exception of them all. Defined by towering mountains, turquoise lakes, massive glaciers, raging rivers, and an unmatched abundance of wildlife, nearly all of it can be experienced from the comfort of smooth, paved roads. No overbuilt 4x4 needed. And for that reason, we have chosen a very different tool for our adventure to what we honestly think may be one of the most beautiful places on planet Earth. Well, hello and welcome from Canada. That's right, we are visiting our poutine-loving neighbors to the north. We are here on a very special and very different type of overland trip. The hint, as you can see, is right behind me. There is a motorcycle, and that is our motorcycle. Christine and I are doing something that, while it is new to the channel, we've not shared this type of adventure with you all before. This is not new for us. In fact, we are celebrating my birthday week, and just about every week on my birthday week, we do a long motorcycle trip. And this time, we've decided to bring you along. We put up a poll on the community tab, and overwhelmingly you all said, yeah, sure, bring us along for the ride. So I hope you enjoy it. We're on our way to one of the most beautiful places that I have ever been. I cannot wait to show it to you. I cannot wait to share this adventure with you. We have a couple friends with us who I will introduce later. We covered about 350 miles today, although it was a pretty uneventful day. We had a super quick border crossing. We did get caught in some wildfire smoke. There are a number of active fires up here right now in British Columbia, and it's hot. We saw 98 degrees, which 98 degrees on a motorcycle is a little bit toasty. But anyway, I hope you'll join us for this trip. I know it's very different, but it's gonna be a lot of fun, so stick around. In case you're wondering, the motorcycle we're riding on this trip is a BMW R1200 GS, which I bought new back in 2015. It is my dream motorcycle, and in my opinion, might be the most versatile motorcycle ever built. And I say this despite the fact that it's too big and heavy to make for a great trail bike, and it's too big and heavy to make for a great track day bike. At the same time, it's not big and heavy enough to be the best choice for two-up touring. You might be thinking then, well, that doesn't sound great at all, but you would be wrong. Because by not being great at anything, it is incredibly good at everything. From track days to trail riding to 5,000-mile touring trips, I have done it all on this bike with a huge, shit-eating grin plastered to my face. And I could wax poetic about my love for this motorcycle for many more minutes, but you would probably get bored and leave, so let's just move on. The next morning, we were greeted by smoky skies, and as we ate breakfast at Tim Hortons, which is required by Canadian law, we were approached by a local who told us of a rather impressive waterfall not far away. He then pointed to a road that led up into the hills and said, "Go that way, eh?" And so we took off, like a bunch of hosers. Oh man, what an incredible detour. I'm so glad that that local told us about Helin Falls. It is just beautiful up here, and the way that the light is kind of hitting it, and with some of the smoke in the air and the mist coming off of the waterfall, it's just super, super pretty right now. So this was definitely a great detour, and the road was really nice too. So not a bad way to start the day. As it turns out, Helin Falls is the 4th highest waterfall in Canada with a straight drop of 463 feet, more than double that of Niagara Falls. It was a seriously impressive sight and further proof that even the best planned trips are no match for local knowledge. Nerds! Back on the road after our detour to check out the falls, we continued northeast and, for the first time since entering Canada, got a break from the smoke. Being able to breathe without feeling like we were in a bowling alley in the 90s was a major improvement. But even better was the fact that the skies cleared just in time for our arrival at the foothills of the Canadian Rockies. A short while later, British Columbia gave way to Alberta, and we arrived at our destination for the evening. A small but lively town nestled in the Rockies, Jasper serves as a welcome outpost in the wilderness and a base camp for adventure. This is our kind of town, and let's just say we made the most of our evening here. Good morning from the Canadian Rockies. I am so excited to be here in Jasper. I got up early this morning because, well, couldn't really sleep because I'm really excited about today because we're gonna do one of my favorite roads of all time today, the Icefields Parkway, which connects Jasper, where we are now, with Banff, and it is just full of spectacular scenery. So I wanted to do some planning along the route, and I also wanted to look at the weather, which I'm a little bit concerned about, if I'm honest. We have thunderstorms that are supposed to be rolling through starting at about 1 o'clock this afternoon. So we'll see how that goes. But we're gonna get an early jump this morning to hope and capitalize on the decent weather while we have it. But either way, we're gonna have a great time today along the Icefields Parkway. I can't wait.
So we are at our first stop of the day, which is at the Baska Falls. Super excited to be here and just check out the amazing waterfall here.
This is really cool. So we're walking through what was at one point a channel of the river, and it carved out all of this rock. And I don't know if I've ever walked through anything quite like this before, but it is really impressive. And it's just crazy to see the effect that water has on the rock. We just pulled off to the side of the road to enjoy a little bit of a stretch and some scenery, and I thought now would be a great time to show you the other bikes that are with us on this trip. So we have with us on this trip Corey, who you probably know by now if you watch the channel. He's always in the Tacoma, and he has this beautiful white Ducati Multistrada. It's a 2016, I think. Then we've got my friend Joe, who's in the bright yellow jumpsuit back there, and he's riding a 2015 R1200 GS, the same exact bike as mine. In fact, we bought those motorcycles new like a month apart, so we were kind of in on it together. And his bike is admittedly much more kitted out than mine. He's bought literally every accessory that you could buy. I think he's bought for that motorcycle. He's got about 40,000 miles on his. I've got about 32,000 miles on mine, so I got some catching up to do. But yeah, so that's who's along with us on this trip and what everybody's riding. The further south we rode along the Icefields Parkway, the thicker the smoke became. This was a bit unfortunate, but despite the smoke, the views seemed to get better around every corner. Landscapes that just a few minutes ago seemed impossible to top somehow kept getting more and more impressive. And then, the Columbia Icefield burst into view. Formed over 200,000 years ago and encompassing an area of about 125 square miles, it feeds 6 major glaciers and is the largest ice field in the Rocky Mountains. It is like nothing any of us have ever seen. Further south along Icefields Parkway are a series of incredibly vivid turquoise lakes like this one. We had been to this spot a few years prior when it had been completely frozen over, and I'm not sure in which state it was most beautiful, but it's hard to go wrong either way. Also in this area is the famous Lake Louise, which we decided to skip after being given a tip to check out a lesser known but supposedly incredible spot. All right, well, we just made our next stop along the Icefields Parkway. We're at Mistaya Canyon. We're gonna go check it out. And fun fact about being in Canada, even the big national park signs like the ones behind me are in English and French, so kind of funny. But let's see what Mistaya Canyon has going on. And what it had going on was yet another impressive display of the power of water slowly cutting away at the limestone rock. Our time exploring Mistaya Canyon, however, was cut short when we learned that severe thunderstorms were reported to be rolling into the area, making it a race against time to get to our lodging for the evening, which we did, just in the nick of time. By dawn, the storms had subsided, and in their place, a thick layer of low-lying clouds had moved into the valley. And we were on the road early, as a few hundred miles separated us from the shores of a lake, where we would need to catch a small ferry to take us to our eventual stop for the night. The combination of riding at dawn in dense fog through an area where wildlife crossings were abundant made for a tense start to the day. And after a few hours of this, we were all ready to take a break and get some breakfast. And what a breakfast it was. I mean, just look at this. we just made it to a ferry crossing, and this is what I've been waiting for all day. We've been riding for probably about 4 hours, fairly uneventful, but kind of dodging rainstorms and some pretty scenery, but pretty uneventful. But this is what I've been looking forward to. This is the Kootenay Bay Ferry. Hopefully I'm not butchering that, but somebody will let me know in the comments. And we got here a few minutes ago. We just missed the ferry by like 1 minute, and so we got to wait another hour to catch the next one, but that's okay, because this is not a bad place to kill some time. And really excited to get on this ferry and have this experience. The only ferries that I have ever been on, that Christine and I have been on, are the Washington State ferries, which are these big, massive ferries. And this is like much smaller, I don't know, 20-car ferry maybe. So anyway, let's see how this goes.
Bikes are loaded up. We just left Crawford Bay and we're on our way to Nelson. We're on this ferry that's going across the Kootenay Lake. And I'm really excited because this is my very first time on a ferry that goes across a lake, and I've never been to this part of British Columbia. So I'm really excited to see what we're going to see. If it's anything like the other parts of British Columbia that I've seen, this is going to be so beautiful. So I can't wait.
Welcome to our final destination for the evening. And I gotta say, Christine is a freaking genius, because we are soaking in a jacuzzi right now after like 4 long days of riding, and it's just exactly what I was looking for. So thanks for that.
You're welcome.
But how was the ride today?
The ride was awesome. I loved the long, twisty sections. I loved the scenery. I thought it was super beautiful. And I think the ferry ride was the icing on the cake. Ferry ride into Nelson was beautiful.
Yeah, that ferry was cool. Riding a ferry over a lake, always a good day. So, yep, we're just gonna relax here for a little bit before we head in town and meet up with the guys for some birthday dinner, which should be good. And just enjoy the rest of the evening. Relax, we've earned it. Pick it up tomorrow. After a slow start to the morning, having nothing at all to do with the previous night's birthday celebration, we were back on the road, and soon we're back in the United States, dropping into Montana and continuing west into Idaho. And for the first time in 4 days, there was no smoke in the sky, which made us very happy. So happy that the in-helmet tunes were cranked to 11, resulting in some pretty ridiculous GoPro footage. Bounce in the streets, I'm a boss till I call. Bounce in the beast, I'm a boss till I fall. I'm a boss on the beat, I'm a boss, spit it raw. I'm a boss, keep it G, and I'm walking the talk. A few hours later, and we had arrived in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, a town we have stopped on at least a half a dozen road trips over the years for one single reason: the most legendary steakhouse any of us have ever visited, the Wolf Lodge Inn. The building seems ready to fall down at any moment. The inside, a dimly lit maze of uneven floors with an abundance of goofy shit on the walls. But the star attraction is undeniably the food, in particular, the steak. If you ever find yourself within 100 miles of Coeur d'Alene, you owe it to yourself to stop here.
Keep it G and I'm walking the talk.
All right, well, here we are on the final day of the trip, and being the last day, it's a little bit bittersweet. You know, on one hand, we're all kind of looking forward to getting home and relaxing, and everybody's packed up. It's like 6:30. Everybody's just got up early and is kind of ready to hit the road. But on the other hand, days like these on the motorcycle are some of my favorite days. It just feels like we're living life, and it's just a feeling that is hard to describe how content it makes us, and just taking things day by day and staying in the moment. And that's really what being on the motorcycle allows us to do. So getting home and getting back into our normal daily routines is always a little bit jarring, and I'm sure it will be this time as well, but getting some rest and sleeping in our own bed will be very nice. But anyway, we've still got a full day of riding ahead of us, so the goal is to enjoy that and of course get home safe. And we've already started planning the next trip, so it's only a matter of time before we get out and do it again. But these trips are truly some of my favorite, and a very different type of overlanding, right? Usually we're trying to get out and we're trying to get remote and we're trying to get as far away from people as we can, and we're trying to get off pavement, and we love that. But sometimes some of the most beautiful sights you can see and some of the most fun you can have are along paved roads. And I think that's what trips like this are all about, is exploring those areas on two wheels and just having an absolute blast doing it. So this video, obviously very different than our usual videos, but I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope you had a good time with us, and it was a lot of fun to bring you along on the adventure. So if you did like it, then leave us a comment down below and let us know that we should bring you along on more of these motorcycle adventures. Or if you didn't make it this far, then that's fine too. But anyway, for those of you who did, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bounce in the streets, I'm a boss till I talk. Bounce in the beast, I'm a boss till I fall. I'm a boss on the beat, I'm a boss, spit it raw. I'm a boss, keep it G, and I'm walking the talk.